Hey peeps, what's up? Okay, welcome back to a video with me, P from P&E, and I am talking about triggers. As the title is gonna say, I haven't titled it yet, but something about quit smoking triggers. We had a comment on the quit smoking video that I did, what do you do when you get triggered? And I thought that is a really great video because Erica and I have talked about it several times over the last few years since we've been quit. Why do we stay quit versus someone who doesn't? I've known people who they'll quit even for a year, 2 years. My mom had quit for like over 10 years, or I'm not exactly sure how long, but a huge amount of time. And when my stepdad passed, she picked up smoking again for a short time, but she did. So why do people go back to it? You know, I've known lots of people do that. They'll quit for 9 months or so, maybe a couple of years while they have a baby, and then they'll go back to it. Why is that? What's the trigger? What happens and all of that? I'm not a doctor or a professional quit smoker, but I am a reformed smoker, and so this is my journey. And you know, Erica and I can share what we've done and what's worked for us because it did finally work, and maybe it'll work for you too. Who knows? So as I mentioned in the last video, which if you haven't seen it, I guess I should link that below so you can check it out. I talked just basically about quitting and how to make it easy. And I referenced the book, The Easy Way to Quit Smoking by Alan Carr. And I do that because it's an amazing freaking book and I have no affiliation with them. I just worked for me. Now it did take me more than one time of reading it. Years ago, I tried to quit at a point and read it maybe halfway or something like that. And put it down. He even talks about that in the book, that does happen when people aren't actually ready because they can, they get the fear of, okay, this is going to happen, it's going to work, I can see where this is going, and they're not actually ready. And so this book really taps into mindset. I think we were set up for success using that book to quit because he does address triggers in it, and we have made that mindset shift that's different from other times I've tried to quit. But generally when we quit smoking, we think of it as we're depriving ourselves of this thing we want. We can't have it anymore. It's bad for us. It's whatever your reason for quitting might have been. You don't know why and you haven't made the shift in your thinking. You're doing it for kind of the wrong reason, looking at it from deprivation. I need a sip of coffee here. This is an addiction that I've kept. It's caffeine. Though I play with that too because I don't like the idea of, having to have something. But anyway, triggers. So common things that do trigger people that I've seen. So a serious life event can, trigger that response, which is emotional, which makes you want to smoke. And then going to like a party, and this time of year, I think it's really good to be making this video right now because it is the middle of September. People are just going back to school. It's kind of that end of summer, gear up to hibernate for the winter sort of time, and it can be busy. You could be going off to school, you could have family going in all hundreds of directions, sports starting up, and other extracurricular things, whatever it is, and life is kind of in this weird phase. And it's a definite big time for triggers. So parties, anything you used to do, which for me was everything for smoking. For me, smoking was an identity. And I knew that, I said that to myself before I quit at different times when I kind of tried and was miserable. I was the worst quitter. I did not think that quitting was going to be really possible for me. I mean, I kind of hoped a few times. I was sort of optimistic, but I really didn't think I was going to quit. And I believed it was a part of my identity, that I ultimately loved it more than all the bad things about it. Like it was a little piece of me. We all get into it for different reasons. But so the trigger, so I did it all the time. Driving, drinking coffee, hanging out with my friends, having either wine or coffee with a bestie and pounding back the smokes and sitting on a patio, hot summer. Anything that got me excited or sad, I needed a cigarette. If I was going to have to do something for a long time in a place where I couldn't have a cigarette, I had to have a cigarette. Having used that book and set myself up for success and having that mindset that I already was winning to begin with really made the triggers easier for me. And I'm excited for Erica maybe to watch this video and put her thoughts in the comments because we have definitely have kind of different ideas on triggers. I'm sure we both read the book, we both kind of powered it back in one day and went for it. And so we have a little different experience on what that was like for our, different personality types. But yeah, so I definitely found triggers easier going in after this book. And it was people around me smoking. We live in a small building, kind of a close community. We know our neighbors, and if they're sitting outside smoking, like, we're close, like in proximity. And so there's no escaping the smell. You can see them doing it, go in the car somewhere with them smoking. And of course I was having my coffee, which I still am. So when he talks about it in the book, and I right away went to this, he mentions, and this stuck with me and resonated, and again for Erica it could have been maybe something different, but it was, you can't have just one. Remember that one will lead to many. You're re-revving up that addiction, and it won't be just one cigarette. It's proven it just doesn't work. A lot of people will get themselves into the trick that if I just have one, it's like a reward. I actually restarted smoking as a reward for having been quit smoking for 3 weeks years ago. And that's where that book allows you to see the trap of smoking. And I think that mindset shift is extremely important. The next thing I would do, someone lights up a smoke and I kind of like the smell of it, especially at the start. It has kind of a weird smell, especially if it's with a match or something. And I'll think, oh, I wish smoking, didn't suck. And I'll think of the reasons that it sucks. Like, it stinks and it's expensive and it's really bad for your health, and vanity reasons, like it ruins your mouth and how you look, and being addicted to it, like losing the freedom of not having to worry about all the parts of smoking and that go with it. And as I'm thinking of that, after they've just lit their smoke or whatever, the moment has passed, and I'm so grateful that I don't smoke, that I don't wish anymore that you know what I mean? Like, it just, if life were completely different and cigarettes were completely different, I could smoke them, but they're not. So it just isn't even a thing. So that is something to look forward to, that it can feel good. And I think you have to allow that idea even into your mind. If you're going to quit smoking and it's for real, you have to be able to see it from a new perspective. And you can. It's just, are you willing to do that? Because we can get pretty stubborn and hang on to smoking, especially if we believe that it is this incredibly hard thing to quit, which the industry that makes millions off you thinks that it is hard to quit. Anyway, I feel like I might be rambling a little bit here, so I'm going to wrap her up. I did make a couple of notes to try and stay on target. So triggers, we got family, maybe you live with people who smoke, people in your homes, you might be dealing with it, in your face all the time. In those kind of situations, I definitely think it's nice to be open and honest if you can with the people around you about what you're up to, and are they interested in quitting with you. A team is a really good thing, especially if you all read the book together. Like, it would be really, really, really a good supportive situation. But if they're not willing to even explore that with you, or that's not an option to suggest, or it's just not a thing and it's going to be there in your face, then yeah, you definitely need to be set up with the strength of mindset to understand what's really going on and why you're quitting, and the clarity on that, and bring in the gratitude for the fact that you've quit. You can't be angry and grateful at the same time. I think Tony Robbins taught me that once, and it's really true. So if you can switch your mind to gratitude instead of looking at the cigarette like, oh, I want their stinky cigarette that they're smoking there, you can go, wow, I'm really grateful that I have missed out on like 10 cigarettes already because I quit this morning or whatever. Oh, and we had an app on our phone for a little bit that I think we looked at quite a bit, which was some rinky-dink free app that just tracks stats for you about like, and there was a little bar so you could watch your health get better, and like your how many cigarettes you've not had, because you could put in how many you smoked a day, how much money you've saved, and it just tracked all these things, and it was kind of just fun to look at it, and as much as you wanted, and there's your gratitude. Because sometimes if you're in the wrong mindset to begin with, you're in that deprivation too, and you're going to look at it and you're going to go, or if you forget for a second, you're going to look at it and go, oh, I want that. Oh no, wait, I'm a non-smoker. I did that a lot too at first, and it didn't hurt, like it did years before when I tried to quit. I would cry and get really frustrated and hate my life, and I would eventually go buy cigarettes. But this time I would have to remind myself, I'd go to leave the house, oh, I need my smokes. Oh, wait a minute, I don't smoke anymore. Wow, cool. I'm really grateful for that. Feel grateful for all the little parts of why you've quit smoking. And journaling. So what have we got so far? We've got an app on your phone that gives you great statistics. We've got the book that should get you set up for success to begin with. Or, I mean, you can ask questions in the comments and I can kind of break it down. I wish I still had a freaking copy because I'd be holding it right here showing you some specific stuff. But every time I get a copy, I give it away because it's so cool. So we've got an app to keep you going. We've got the book that sets you up for success. We've got going to gratitude and also listing off the whys, like, yeah, it'd be great to have that smoke if it didn't stink, if it wasn't hurting me, if I could afford it, if everybody didn't think I was gross for doing it, if I wasn't tired of it controlling me. I don't know, it depends on what it is for you. And then what have I got? The feeling of freedom. That I didn't even realize was gonna happen when I quit smoking. Definitely did not expect that because I didn't realize how much it was controlling me. Like, I knew it was bad for me and it was costing me too much money, but I mean, I thought about it constantly. My life was really wrapped around smoking. To remember my cigarettes everywhere I went and a lighter, and plan to have them as more things got restrictive on smoking, and you couldn't smoke here and you couldn't smoke there or within buildings and feats, and I mean, it became really restrictive and less people were doing it. You were more and more shamed about it a little bit. It's accepted, but it's shamed as well. And so you always had to plan. Do I have my cigarettes? Do I have my lighter? When am I gonna get more? When am I gonna have one? How many should I have? Because I have to go X along before I can have one again. And like, it was just, and you missed out on so much. So the freedom, not having to worry about any of that was a huge surprise and awesome. So definitely relish in the awesome things you've gained. And you can do this all in a quick few minutes. Like, you're not gonna sit and write a journal entry every time you see someone pick up a cigarette, for heaven's sakes. But if you practice, and it does take a little practice at first and reminding yourself, and you practice a few things, you're gonna have a couple trigger things that you say that untrigger you. For me, it was remembering in the book when he said, you can't have just one. It's a nice try, but you can't have just one. And I had tried it years before, so I knew for me, for real, it wasn't gonna work. So I believed and trusted in that because my way didn't work. Every time I tried to quit, whether I used the patch or I went cold turkey or I had some other holistic thing. I mean, I've tried a few different things over the years and none of them worked. This just really clicked with me, so I trusted that. You gotta go with your gut sometimes. You gotta go with your intuition, trust what is gonna work for you and come at it from the right motivation. What else? Oh, these could actually be other videos, and since this is getting long, I'm not even really gonna get into this much, but do I still crave them? I guess I kind of touched on that already. Depriving yourself versus empowering yourself, that's the mindset. And the mindset is all about understanding what's really going on and that it's a trap to believe that you need a whole bunch of hullabaloo to quit smoking, and it's a trap to believe that it's really difficult to quit smoking and that you have been brainwashed and yes, you are addicted and it can all be over. Leave some comments, let's interact. I'd love to know what you think of this video. Please subscribe, hit notifications. Like, we're a small little channel here and we would like to grow, and if we have to get you to hit notifications in order to grow past 300 people, like, holy, I want to get to 300,000 people. So please subscribe, give us any advice on how you'd like to see the channel go, and hit the notifications. Okay, bye.